What's up, y'all? It's Distance. I'm here, obviously driving around my hometown of Jefferson City, Missouri. And I thought about, just say screw it. I know I have mentioned about doing like a story time on my gaming channel. And I was like, I ain't really doing none today. And I just left the gas station on my way home. I was going to tell this story. So, my first story I'm going to tell is my experience back in May of 2019, where a F3 tornado decided to come crashing through my backyard and take out half of Jeff City. So let's start from the beginning. So back in 19, I worked at Walmart on Stadium. For those who live around here in Jeff City, that's the ghetto Walmart, as they call it, which, there's a reason for that, but that's another story for another time. So, I think it was like May 22nd, 23rd. I was working 10 to 7 at Walmart with my buddy, and, when he was dating, or when his dad was dating my aunt, so we called each other cousins at the time, because, we never planning on getting married, so I'm just going to say my cousin. We were working, cart pushing, and we got the warning on the emergency text messages, and the EMS, or not EMS, but the emergency alert system that comes on the radio with that annoying freaking beeping noise. Yeah, severe thunderstorm warning. In fact, later on tonight, blah blah blah. You know how it goes. So the sky was clear as ever. It was a beautiful May day. It was a little toasty, but it was bad. It was a beautiful morning. And we were sitting in front of the store like, they ain't gonna do nothing. We ain't, we ain't worried about it. It's a beautiful day. I wouldn't worry about it. He's like, yeah. So, we out here cart pushing, and next thing I know, the alerts got more intense. It says something about tornado watch. I was like, a tornado watch? How is there a tornado watch? And I'm blocking it because I don't want to show anybody's license plate, because I can get in trouble for that, apparently. So, but that's how it went. And then we were just sitting there, cart pushing, and then I went home for the evening, right? I went home, 7 o'clock, came around, I went home, we got on the PlayStation with my buddy. We were sitting there playing Minecraft, we're pissing off this kid, destroying, blowing up his stuff and acting like it was creepers, having fun, right? So, but at one point the storm came in, and I was like, man, that does sound like a bad storm. Crackling, big old thunderclaps and lightning flashes, whatever. So I was like, yeah, whatever, I'll just keep playing. And then I remember my power went out, and I was like, what the hell, man? Like, what? I was in the middle of playing, and I had to text my buddy, yeah, power went out, But I'll hop on tomorrow at the work, because it was 11 o'clock at the time, whatever. So I'm getting ready to go to bed, and I'm not too worried about anything, because we had a myth at the time. We thought it was facts, and people were like, around here in Jeff were like, yeah, well, tornadoes don't hit hilly areas. It's just flat land, so they can, if it's too hilly for them. Well, turns out that was a bunch of baloney, but so I get ready to go to bed, and the sirens go off. I was like, oh, here we go. So we go downstairs, and I'm just not whatever, I'm just whatever. I ain't worried about it. It's storming, it's raining like hell. It's got a little bit of hail in it. The wind's going nuts, And I'm just chilling, I'm just like, whatever. I ain't worried about it. It'll be done here in a few minutes, and I'll get to go brush my teeth and go to bed. I ain't tripping, right? And so we're sitting there, and it gets a little chill, it starts to calm down a little bit, and wind dies down, the rain's dying down, there's no hail anymore, it's just, it's chilling. on the radio, there was a report of one on the ground near Eldon, Missouri, which is like, okay, so it's about a few miles, about 30, 50, I wouldn't say 30, about 20 minutes down. 20 minutes down the road, down the highway from my house. You know, not too close. So I was like, yeah, whatever. So it starts to calm down. Sirens go off. I was like, you know, I'm gonna go back upstairs. You know, it's not as bad. The sirens are done. The rain's done, really. And I started walking up the stairs. Well, about halfway up the stairs, I started hearing this rumbling. I was like, wait a minute. And I sat there. I stopped and listened. It sounded like a train coming in. I was like, oh, hell no. I dove back down the stairs, and I laid down, and that tornado started coming through my yard. And I was like, Jesus freaking Christ, dude. And I'll insert some photos here. But, I was like, man, it happened. It came. And it only lasted for a few minutes. It wasn't that long at all. I'd say about 10 minutes, if that. And it was gone. So, and after that, we went upstairs. I came outside. Freaking stuff was blown over everywhere. The vehicles are fine, which was insane. I was like, man, I was literally half expecting to go upstairs to no house, or half a house, or a very severely damaged house. You know, I was not expecting anything left, or very little, if anything, left standing. Everything was fine. There was a big old hole in the kitchen wall, which I'll insert that photo. It looked like somebody took a 12 gauge buckshot and like point blank shot the hole out the wall. You know, big old hole. And that was like really the only damage, except for like the back, the gate. The fencing was damaged, the trees falling down. No vehicle damage. You know, we were blessed. And I mean, I don't know about y'all, but I'm a religious man, and I'll say I was blessed. So, because not only was I praying, but my dad was praying at work. He worked at Hitachi at the time, across the river with Jeff. And you know, it was my first tornado. I pray to God, my last, because that was the wackiest time of my life. I'm telling you, that stuff was. It was very surreal. Like, you know, I like watching tornado stuff. You know, Swiggle Studios. You know, people that do tornado documentaries. I like that stuff. I like you know, weather stuff, meteorology. And if it wasn't for me trying to go to school for, you know, being a game warden, I probably would have gone to school for meteorology. But it was very crazy. Like, you know, I thought to myself, man, I'd be watching videos of this stuff all the time and never knew like the full extent of like how it was like until it happened to me. And I will say, people who freak out in those videos have a pretty good reason to freak out, because it's a freaky experience, man. So, but hey, everything's fine. Turns out when it was in Eldon, it was like a F3, and then when it came to my house, it became like an F1, low grade F2, and then when it hit Jeff, it was an F3. And the damages of Jeff was like surreal. Like, I didn't get to go to work. I actually had an excuse to call off work because I was supposed to help my dad, but he ended up taking care of it, so we went fishing. But we also drove around Jeff. There were semi trucks tipped over on the highway 54. Roofs ripped off. There's like a storage unit along 54. It was completely flattened, basically. Apartments that were near the Y in Jeff on Ellis Boulevard were flattened, pretty much destroyed. It looked like a battlefield, you know, map. Like, if you ever played Battlefield, or you look at like these World War II photos, that's what it looked like, man. And people, it was bad. I went to 9th grade at Simonson, and that building was messed up. It looks creepy now. I kind of want to break into it and explore it, but it's creepy looking now. It's abandoned. But, you know, all these things that happen, man, like, you know, you just don't think about, oh, that's a freaking opossum in the road. Wow. Poor dude. Anyway, you know, just don't take anything for granted, man. That's the lesson here I want to, you know, say is, you know, be blessed, or whatever you believe in. Don't take it for granted, because things like, you know, things you work on, or things you work to own, like your house, your car, you know, even your family and friends can be taken out like that by weather, like tornadoes. And, you know, one day you got them, and the next thing you know, and only in about 10 minutes they're gone. So, yeah. But that's my story. That's the time I'm not good at telling stories, but I'll get better at it. But that is the time I experienced the Jeff City tornado of May of 2019, and it's been, shoot, it's crazy. It's already been 6 years. 6 years that happened, man. So yeah, that's about it. I'll see you. Thanks for watching, guys.